Hi everybody, it's Susan from Sunrise Quilt Studio, and today I'm going to start on a new project. I have been wanting to make a patriotic quilt for a while, and I finally found some fabrics I like, and I'm going to get that started. Now, this is going to be a little bit different than what I had originally planned. I was just going to make a pieced quilt, and I had a design all planned out, and went to the store to buy some fabric, and my whole plan went out the window. And that happens sometimes. I had gone to my local quilt shop, and my youngest daughter went with me. Now, as a background, I have 3 children, and they're all 3 adopted internationally. My oldest 2 are from India. My youngest is from Thailand. And the adoption process is, for international adoption, is a long, drawn out, very expensive process. And you go through a lot. So, you know, you've got to be patient and just realize it's going to take time. Now, adoption process for each country is different too. The adoption for my 2 oldest children, being from India, it was actually different between the 2 of them, because countries changed their laws and that kind of thing over time. And there's 7 years between those 2 children. And then we adopted our youngest about 7 to 8 years after we adopted our second child. Now, our first 2 children were adopted as infants. Our youngest was an older child. She was almost 6 when we adopted her. So Thailand's laws were a little more complex, a little bit different, and actually they were a lot different. And it was a long process. Well, since Sarah was older, she remembers quite a bit of what the adoption process was like. And then part of this process is you also have to apply for U.S. citizenship. Now, the laws have changed between child number 2 and child number 3. For our first 2 children, they were naturalized. But then the U.S. laws changed, and they see any child adopted internationally by U.S. parents as being U.S. citizens, which is wonderful. But the problem is that there's no proof of U.S. citizenship, because normally you go by your birth certificate. Well, just because they're adopted by U.S. parents, it doesn't change their birth certificate as far as the place they were born. So when, like, we use our birth certificates for proof of citizenship here in the U.S., theirs isn't going to help with that. So you have to go through Homeland Security and apply for a certificate of citizenship. And so we did that, and she remembers all of that. And when we did get the approval, we drove to the Homeland Security office in Kansas City, and we finished everything there. She got her certificate of citizenship, and then we were able to take photographs of her outside the building. You can't take photographs inside the building. You can only do it outside. So they had, you know, the U.S. flag up there, so, and the Missouri flag. So we took pictures of her in front of those. And for several years after that, whenever we go anywhere and there was a flag, she wanted her picture taken in front of it. So she remembers all that, and she's very proud of her citizenship. And you know, I was happy to make this quilt for her. Now, this quilt, what I had in mind was just a pieced quilt with stars in it, star blocks. But when we walked into the quilt shop and started looking at their patriotic fabrics, we found a display, and there was a display with a panel of the Statue of Liberty. And Sarah is very enamored with the Statue of Liberty. That's her lady. And so we went ahead and we bought the panel. Now, they had a kit for this. Here's Lady Liberty. And they had a kit, and it wasn't terribly expensive. It was, I don't know, $53, $55, something like that, with all the fabrics you needed, except I think you didn't have a backing in it. But the fabrics that were in that kit were very busy, and I like a cleaner look, and it just wasn't what I had in mind. And so we were able to just buy a panel. They had some that pre-cut for us. So we went ahead and bought a panel, and this is Lady Liberty by Whistler Studio for Wyndham Fabrics. We also bought this, which is from the same line, and this is, it looks like red fabric, very pretty. But the rest of the fabric I bought was from a different line. And this is Stateside by Sweetwater, and I bought this fabric. It's a text fabric. It says United States of America, and it's red, white, and blue. The word America is in red. I bought this little flower check type print. So these two are going to be the stars. And then I bought this as the background for the stars, and for also the stripes. I'm going to do a red and white stripe. So this is red, white, and red, and two shades of blue stars and circles. So those are going to be the background of the blocks and the stripes. And I'll go ahead and pop up a picture of the design that we decided to use. And I bought two pieces of that. I originally went in and I bought a half a yard. This was before I had finalized the plans, because once we went from a pieced quilt to a panel quilt, so that kind of changed things. And then I kept playing with the design, and once we realized we were going to do a panel, and the last two that I made, I let my daughter choose between those two, and she chose the one with more stripes in it. So that's going to take more fabric. So I went to the store and bought another yard. So I have a full yard of this and a full yard of the red, and then I have this extra half a yard. So I can use that for other projects, or maybe the binding, depending on. I was planning on using the red for the binding, but we'll see. We'll see what I have and what I need. So anyway, that is the story of this quilt so far. So right now I'm going to get some fabric cut, and I'm going to start sewing on the star blocks, and we'll go on from there. Okay, I have cut out all the fabrics that I need to make the star blocks. Now on our diagram here, we need 6 star blocks, and I'm using the dark blue for the center, the light blue for the star points, and then the star circle fabric will be the background. So one of the things that I did when I designed this was measured my panel, and then came to the closest to that measurement that I could with my design. So one of the things that I did when I got back home from the store with this panel is I went to YouTube and I looked at a couple of videos on people who were making quilts from panels. And one of them was Jenny Doan from Missouri Star Quilt Company, and she said something that kind of reinforced what I was thinking, is that when you have a panel in the center of your quilt, you want to make your panel fit your borders or your blocks, whatever you're surrounding it with. Don't make those blocks fit your panel, because you do have quite a bit of room that you can trim down. So we're going to get started. So let me show you the fabrics and the sizes for those. So for A is the center of the star, and that is a 4.5 inch square. B is the star points, and these are 2.5 inches, and you need 8 of those. You'll need one of your A and 8 of your B's. C is the background of the flying geese. You need 4 of those for each block, and D is the corners of the block, and you'll need 4 of those. So I have things cut for 6 blocks here. That's why there's so much fabric. So I'm going to go ahead and get started, and I'm going to make the flying geese. So what I need to do is, or what you can do, is to draw a diagonal line on the wrong side from corner to corner, or you can do what I'm going to do, and I have a piece of tape on the bed of my sewing machine. I'm going to use that to follow along with, so that I can go from corner to corner and get a straight line. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust the camera, and we'll get started making flying geese. Okay, I have a piece of glue line tape here that I'm going to use, and I'm just going to go ahead and get started. And you basically just start on one side. Doesn't really matter which side you want to start on, and line these up in one side, and then I'm going to sew from the top center to the bottom corner. On this one, it's going to be top center to bottom right corner. And I'm lining the point here with the edge of my tape, and that tape lines up with my needle, so I know I'm in the right spot here. Okay. And then I'm going to trim this outer corner, leaving a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And then press this back. And then get another square and do the same thing. Start from the center and go out to the outer corner. Okay, so here I have my flying geese unit. So I'm going to make 8 of these for each block, and then I'll be ready to put the block together. Okay, so now I have all of my pieces, so I'm going to go ahead and put these all together. I'm going to lay them out, and we're going to put the A square in the center, and then surround that with the flying geese units. And here you can see the star that's forming, and then the D pieces go in the corners. Okay, so there's the star, and I'm just going to sew the pieces into rows and sew the rows together as usual, and press, and the block will be done. So here's the completed block. It was pretty fast. I just have 5 more of these to go, and then on the next video I'll show you how I'm making the stripes. And so we'll do that, and then we'll put the panel together. So I think this will go together pretty easily, at least I hope so. And got a good start, and just the rest of the night I will finish these blocks and get ready for the next step. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and click that notification bell so that you'll be notified when the next video comes up. And in the meantime, I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. For more quilting ideas, click on the video links, and to keep up with my latest projects, click on the subscribe button. I hope to see you again soon.